Did UFC 319 just give us the most one-sided title fight in UFC history? Fans are still buzzing, fighters are throwing shade, and the MMA world can't decide if this was greatness on display or a warning sign for the sport itself. Let's break down the chaos. Before the main event even started, Sean Strickland lit a fire under the MMA community with his brutal take on Khamzat Chimaev. He flat out called him a weak man, claiming he'd seen Khamzat fold in training and even accusing him of being one step away from quitting the sport altogether. Strickland told stories of heated gym sessions, awkward threats over group chats, and how he once forced Khamzat to retire after a sparring session. It was vintage Strickland, raw, unfiltered, and impossible to ignore. He even predicted Dricus du Plessis would break Khamzat in the 5th round, but when the cage door shut, the reality was very different. The bell rang, and within 5 seconds, Khamzat shot in for a takedown. Just like that, du Plessis was planted on the canvas, and the tone was set. Round after round, Khamzat chained wrestling pressure with suffocating top control, crucifix positions, relentless ground and pound, and zero daylight for du Plessis. It wasn't just controls, it was total domination. By round 3, it looked less like a fight and more like a survival exercise. DDP's only spark came in the final seconds of round 5 when he threatened a late submission. But it was too little, too late. Khamzat walked away with an easy unanimous decision, and the MMA world had plenty to say. Conor McGregor, never one to miss a moment, celebrated the history-making win, calling it Chechnya's first UFC champion. Sean Strickland, the same man who doubted Khamzat days before, tried to save face by joking he's probably the only fighter who could out-grapple Chimaev over 5 rounds. Bilal Muhammad went a different route, taunting du Plessis for getting outclassed, dropping a sarcastic, "Shout out for showing heart, just kidding, you sucked." That was 5 10-8 rounds. Some cheered the dominance, but others were quick to fire back. Paulo Costa mocked the fight as boring, pointing out boos from the arena crowd and saying nobody wants to watch that kind of wrestling clinic. Jael Sonnen dropped a brutal stat, over 400 strikes landed by Khamzat compared to just 1 from du Plessis. He called it one of the most lopsided title fights of all time. And yet, not everyone saw it as a negative. Analysts and fighters alike are saying Khamzat's grappling might be on a level nobody at middleweight can stop. Some even believe we're looking at the early stages of one of the most dominant championship reigns in UFC history. But that begs the question, who can actually challenge him? Usman, Strickland, or are we about to witness years of one-sided fights that thrill purists but push away casual fans? Of course, UFC 319 wasn't just about the main event. Before Khamzat even stepped into the octagon, Lerone Murphy stunned fans with a vicious first-round knockout over Aaron Pico. The shot came out of nowhere, sending Pico crashing and fueling talk of the so-called Bellator curse. Alexander Volkanovski wasted no time firing off a message. "See you in December, Lerone Murphy. Congrats, that fight is already shaping up to be a must-watch." But the night's drama didn't stop there. Tim Elliott used his post-fight mic time not to celebrate his guillotine submission win, but to blast the UFC for still using old-school balance scales instead of digital. He called it ridiculous and accused the system of giving fighters unfair wiggle room at weigh-ins. Then came Brian Battle, who missed weight by 4 pounds. Earlier in the week, he trashed his opponent Nursulon Ruziboev, blaming him for their fight being left off the main card. After the weigh-in embarrassment, Ruziboev clapped back, posting, "This is a professional sport, Blondie, make the weight first." The beef got even spicier when the two ran into each other at a restaurant. Cameras caught Battle awkwardly apologizing, promising to run it back in Abu Dhabi. Fans weren't impressed, with former UFC fighter Zach Pauga even tweeting, "Hire a nutritionist, UFC literally provides them, no excuse." So what do we take from UFC 319? On one hand, we saw sheer dominance from Khamzat Chimaev, a performance that cements him as one of the most dangerous fighters alive. On the other, the criticism is loud. Is this the kind of fight casual fans actually want to see? Between Strickland's trash talk backfiring, Lerone Murphy's knockout buzz, and Brian Battle's weight fiasco, UFC 319 will be remembered for more than just a single lopsided fight. But the real question remains, was this the beginning of Khamzat's unstoppable reign, or the start of a problem for the UFC's entertainment factor? Let me know in the comments what you think. Was this greatness, or was it bad for business?